Whether you've been in business for a day or whether you've been in business for 10 years, you have probably heard ad nauseam everyone talking about offers and niches because it is very important. However, with all of that talk, you're probably feeling a little bit like this, especially if you've hashed your offer over and over, or maybe you've switched niches, or maybe you keep wondering, like, am I in the right niche? Like, okay, should I change it? What should I do? And so what I want to talk about today is some specific ways you can look at your offer to see if I can really help you dial it in. Because once you've dialed in your offer, it makes your messaging and what you're going to post, whether that's in social media or whether those are emails, it makes that whole process a whole lot easier. So my name is Elea Faucheron, and I'm the co-founder of MoveThinkSmile, where we focus on helping health and wellness companies with their marketing. We basically help make their marketing work. So let's dive right in today. I want to talk about how to spice up your offer and how to help you stand out. And this is really important. Again, I really want to preface that it doesn't matter if you've, just started your business or if you've been in business for 10 years, working on your offer and your niche is something that comes regularly. And Adam and I work on ours all the time. Little tiny nuances can make a big difference. So let's take a look at this. All right. So there's a good reason why everyone's talking about niches and offers. And every time you pop on social media, you're seeing this because it's really important to get this right in your business. And it's going to really help you save time and, of course, increase your ability to bring in more clients and more leads. However, you're going to be happy to know that you can still grow a business with mediocre messaging around your offer because, in fact, well, we have done it ourselves. And I want to share some examples with you. So we started out with a fatigue and burnout offer. And I'm going to tell you, as we kind of move deeper into this, you're going to see why the examples I'm about to share with you are a bit mediocre. But I want you to take a look at what we did here at first. So we said 5 steps to turn anxiety, fatigue, and burnout into badass freedom, energy, and cash flow. All right. So there's a lot going on here. We're talking about anxiety, fatigue, and burnout. So 3 different issues. Then we're also talking about 3 different outcomes: freedom, energy, and cash flow. So there's a lot here. I'm going to tell you why that's mediocre. Here's a second one that we created that was, well, mediocre. So freedom from fatigue. Well, we got a little bit more specific here because we were really just talking about fatigue. And we said, okay, the 5 steps to beat fatigue, stop stress-related exhaustion, and reverse burnout syndrome in record time without sacrificing your career or business. So in this one, we were honing down and getting a little bit more specific. We are leading with the symptom of fatigue. Okay, if I have fatigue, I can raise my hand. But we're also talking about people who have a career or a business. And so there's a lot of different, nuances that come with people in a career versus people that own their own business. And then we have this one where we kind of tried the idea of going for work-life balance. Learn the 5 keys top professionals use to balance successful careers without sacrificing their health and family, even if their schedules are jam-packed. So in this one, we're going for something more general like work-life balance. And we're talking about health and family, and we're talking about career. So again, there's a lot in the mix here. So back to my point. You can still grow a business with mediocre messaging around your offer. MoveThinkSmile started as a fatigue and burnout company. We help people get their energy back. And we went through hundreds of variations of our offer and kind of how we wanted to niche down and what we wanted to be our lead message. And so the bad news, however, is that it's going to be a lot harder to achieve the growth you desire with mediocre messaging. It just slows the whole thing down. So we want to look at how we can help you spice up your offer, which leads to great messaging, which of course then also gets, well, it helps you get more leads. So let's dive right in. Might be a little bit messy, just like this dive. I feel like a lot of times this is exactly how I am when I enter into messaging and start breaking down my own messaging. But there are a couple good rules that you want to follow. So number 1, we first want to avoid using platitudes like live your best life, whole body thrive, finding your joy. And instead, we really want to focus on outcomes and transformations and not modalities. Now, you might be saying, Elea, well, finding your joy is an outcome, Elea. Living your best life is an outcome. But it's not a very specific one, and it can mean a lot to different people. And I'm going to say this a couple times throughout this video, but when you see something that says live your best life, do you have an immediate image that pops into your mind that tells you exactly what live your best life means? And for you, maybe if you've done a lot of clarity work, you might have an image that pops up for you. But let's say that you have a friend and she is a health coach and you ask, what she's up to. And she says, "Oh, I help people live their best life." Tell me if you can think of a person right away that you could recommend for her, someone that you could send as a referral. More than likely, you're not going to be able to think of one specific person that would be great to refer to your friend because live your best life is so broad. So let's go into some examples because I think this is really going to help. So here's what we want to avoid. I help people stop seizures without surgery. It's really good. Even when they have failed multiple medications. Okay, also good. So they can live a fearless, blissful life, allowing them to travel the world, raise a family, build a career, enjoy their passions, and live longer, fuller lives. Okay, so here we go with the platitudes. But not only do we have platitudes here, we also have, and we're speaking to a lot of different outcomes. We're talking about traveling the world, raising a family, having a career, enjoying their passions. So there's a lot here that is created in the outcome. So I want you to be cautious about combining too many outcomes in one offer. Because if you have too many outcomes, there are too many things that you need to speak to. And so you will start to get confused about what you should actually be talking about on a day-to-day basis. So we want to avoid mixing career, family, and hobbies all together. Now, that doesn't mean when you have a health offer that you won't impact all of those areas in someone's life. But the lead offer, the lead messaging in your company, you really want to hone in. Do I want to attract people where they want to fix their health because of how it's impacting their career? And that's the main driver. That's the main reason that they have reached out because they are not performing at work. Or do I want to bring in the ideal people where they're saying, you know what? I'm handling things well at work. I like work, but I am exhausted. I don't feel well. So the times that I'm not working, when I'm home on the weekends, I'm literally just on the couch. I'm not doing things with my family. I'm not showing up how I want to be as a parent. And is the family the main driver for taking action on their health? It's tough to combine the two because there's so much to talk about in each. So instead, we want to focus on one main outcome. Now, I know you've probably heard this a lot, but again, I want to give you these tangible examples because I think it really helps drive the point home in our minds. And it helps me every single time I sit down and take a look at some of our own messaging. So let's take a look at this one right here, but in a more simplified way. I help people with drug-resistant epilepsy stop seizures without pills or surgery so they don't have to work from home. Now, what I want you to notice is how the second version is so much more simple. Yet it stands out from the crowd because of its specificity and its tangible wording. Now, I want you to think, can you get a quick picture right away of who this person is? And do you know specifically what they want their outcome to be? So obviously, we know right away, this is someone with epilepsy. Very, very clear, right? But the second thing that we're very clear on is they don't want to work from home, which means they probably don't feel comfortable driving because of the possibility of a seizure. So they have to work from home. So I want you to think, how can I make my offers as specific as this? So there's one tangible problem and there's one tangible outcome. This way, like I said, you can clearly see a snapshot in your mind of someone who has, seizures, who's homebound because they can't drive, versus the complexity of images that come to mind in this very first example, where there's so many things that we're talking about that there are a lot of things competing for attention or for, space in your mind about what the outcome is and what it actually looks like. So the key is to bring as many specific details as possible into your offer without overwhelming or clouding the message, right? Because if you have too many, then it's like, hey, there's too many of them in here, too much, right? So let's see how we can make things more simple. So for example, I help busy professional females who are overwhelmed with the diet process, unable to lose weight and overcome their cravings and lose 20 plus pounds. All right, this is it's pretty darn simple. It's very specific. I know it's for busy professional women. They're overwhelmed by the diet process and they want to lose 20 plus pounds. So I know that it's not just they want to lose weight, but I know exactly about how much weight they want to lose. Here's another way to say it. I help professional women who can't control their cravings, leading with cravings, lose 20 plus pounds of stubborn weight so they can love what they see in the mirror again. Again, this is now we're moving a little bit more into a confidence offer, right? And loving how they look in the mirror and dealing with cravings. So I want you to really take a look at how these two offers right here are very similar, but they leave you feeling in two very different ways. And this is really important when it comes to your offer, because if you can get this right, again, you're going to get the more of the leads and more of the ideal clients that you want, and you're going to feel much more clear about who it is that you want to bring in. All right, so we want to look at a few more examples here because I want to be able to get your creativity going on either A, how you can build your own first offer, or B, if you've got an offer right now and your marketing is just not working how you know it could be, and you're really trying to optimize it and see how you can make things better, then some of these examples might really be helpful. So let's take a look at this one. I help successful professional women who've been diagnosed with fibroids, very specific women, fibroids, put an end to heavy bleeding, pain, and bloating so they increase their chances of conception. Okay, again, super powerful example here. Even though we have quite a few components, they all really interconnect together. And we have that one outcome, increase their chances of conception. Let's look at this second one. I help hospital workers solve their abdominal obesity so they can lose 20 pounds of flab and have the energy to pull 12-hour shifts. So again, super specific on how much weight they want to lose, specific on hospital workers, and also specific in that ultimate goal. This is about they want better career performance. They want to be able to pull 12-hour shifts. And so this is why they want to lose the weight and they want to be able to, have more energy. So these are both simple, but very specific, and you can have both. It takes some wordsmithing to get there, but you can absolutely do it. So not only does this help resonate with your potential client, but it helps make you stand out from the crowd. And it also really informs all of the messaging that you will create from there. So, again, just for an example, if I am looking to increase my fertility, if I'm struggling with fertility, and I also have thyroids, I also have fibroids, then again, this is going to help move me towards you if I have fibroids. If I don't have fibroids, I may or may not move towards this. But again, this is going to really speak to me if I do have fibroids versus someone that just says, hey, I can help you get pregnant. So again, I want everybody to notice how this can really impact you when you read these. So the important thing is when you are trying to create messaging, emails, social media posts, you want to think about the complexity of the things you need to weave together for that content. And if your offer is too complex, then you're going to struggle to be able to come up with ideas. Because one of the biggest things that I find when people are struggling and they don't know what to write, or they're not sure what to, put in emails or social media posts, it's because their offer is actually a little bit too complex. And so they're not really sure what to focus on or where to start because there are so many things that they're saying with their offer. So for example, I help sales professionals who struggle with metabolic syndrome lower their if I can talk today, lower their blood pressure, remove excess belly fat, alleviate lower back and joint pain, fatigue, reverse high cholesterol and triglycerides so that they can have confidence in their appearance, ability to compete for more challenging career goals, spend more time with family and friends, and attract the love they want in their life. Now, when you go to create content for this is a lot to focus on. Now, what's really important when you have an offer is that you want to think about it. If anybody ever took a journalism class in college, is you want to think about the iceberg effect. What's the main thing that you're always coming back to at the very top? And then all of these other details, things like the lower back pain, the joint pain, fatigue, cholesterol, can be talked about deeper into the copy. But what are you always leading with? Are you always leading with how this problem associates to a career or to a love life or to family and friends. And if you have to address or create copy for how it affects family, how it affects friends, how it affects love, how it affects your career, you're going to be posting about things all over the place on all different types of topics. And it will kind of leave your people, your ideal potential clients, a little bit confused. So when you go to create content, again, if your offer is too complex, you won't know which topic to write about. Just as I mentioned, career goals, time with family, love, these are very deep and complex topics, all three in their own. On the other hand, if we switched the offer and just simplified it, but still kept it specific, we could say something like, I help sales professionals who have metabolic syndrome reverse their diagnosis so that they have the energy to double their sales. Now we have something very specific. We have one thing, metabolic syndrome. We're saying we're going to help reverse it, and the outcome is very specific, more energy to double their sales. This means when you go to create emails and posts, you can really zero in on symptoms and how they impact your ability or their ability to make more sales. How does this impact their daily life and being able to hit the sales numbers that they want? This is going to give you a much more targeted set of topics. Compared to having to speak to career goals, family, friends, and love all in the same space. So to stand out of the crowd, you need a powerful offer and you need it to have specificity, and that's what's going to really spice it up. One that isn't filled with platitudes and one that makes writing your copy easy because it forces and focuses your mind on what to say in your message. So by crafting a specific outcome-driven offer, you're not only going to attract more ideal clients, but it's also going to make your marketing efforts more effective and efficient. So I want you to take some time right now to review your current offer. Again, it doesn't matter if you're just getting started or if you've been 10 years in business. Everyone is always looking to optimize on how to make their marketing work better. I don't know anybody who's not like, man, I feel like my marketing really could be working better. So I want you to take a look at it. And, again, by the way, like I said before, we review ours constantly. We've literally had thousands of versions of our offer highlighting different things that health and wellness companies are up against. And we really work to see what fits us for right now, or even for this year, or even for this quarter, and especially too from what we're hearing out in the space of health and wellness companies. So I want you to ask, how can you add more specificity to your offer, but also make it simple? How can you make it compelling and exciting for your target audience? Because remember, the foundation of a successful marketing strategy is your offer. It is the niche that you choose to speak to. And if you get that right and you feel really dialed in with that, everything else becomes a whole lot easier when it comes to creating more content. So what I'd like you to do is comment below on what was helpful in this short training. Please, practice the art of specificity. So please share with me specific things that you took away from this. And also, if you want some help in your offer, just share it in the comments below, and we'll definitely give you some suggestions and some feedback. All right. Until then, wishing you much marketing success. If you are struggling to make your marketing work, well, again, we're here. Comment below. We're going to help you out with that offer or your niche, and I'll see you back here next time.